Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our webinar. Today, we are thrilled to present Phoenix CRM and launching this product to the market. So my name's Luke Parved. I'm the CEO at Phoenix. I've got 20 years experience in tech, and 10 of that has been in prop tech. Previously, I was the founder of Eagle and also served as the Chief Operating Officer at PropTech Group. Joined here with Arya Mojgani. Arya brings a strong background in web development, customer service, support, and runs those parts of our business. And we've also got Trev as well. Trevor is an industry veteran, well known throughout the industry. Been around a long time. Sorry, Trev. And has worked across in real estate and across many prop techs as well. So data, marketing, CRM, lots of experience. So some housekeeping before we jump in. The webinar will go for 45 minutes today. We're doing a Q&A via Zoom. We'll do that at the end, but you can ask questions at any time by clicking the Q&A button in Zoom. And after the webinar, we'll be sending out a recording. So what are we going to cover today in the webinar? So firstly, I'm going to talk about the why of what we're doing. So we're talking about the future, what trends we're seeing, and how we see Phoenix fitting in those trends. Then we're going to jump in. Trev's going to do a demo showing us what we've built. And then Arya's going to have a look at what trends we're seeing in websites and some of the best practices we're putting in place for boosting conversions on websites. And then after that, we're going to do the Q&A. So first up, let's do a poll. Would love to hear what you guys are thinking around the future of the real estate industry. So I'll just launch this poll here. Okay, that should be showing on the screen now. So the question is, what trend do you believe will have the greatest impact on the real estate industry in the next 2 to 3 years? So is it rising consumer expectations, proliferation of AI, increasing dominance of real estate portals, or the rise of integrated platforms? Would be interested to see what you all think of that. And then obviously we've got our thoughts as well, which I'll go over shortly. So a lot of responses coming in here. Okay, very interesting. So this should put the results on the screen here. Okay, so rising consumer expectations, but proliferation of AI. I've got a bit to say about that shortly. So that's interesting to see. And the rise of integrated platforms. Okay, so what we're seeing is number one, rising consumer expectations. So I was talking to a friend not long ago who was buying a house, and he had seen the house on the Saturday. I was talking to him on Sunday afternoon, and he was putting in an offer. So he first asked me, what should I do? So I said, have you been told, how are you meant to put in offers? What's the system that's in place? He was like, oh, there's nothing. So I'm like, all right, let's send an email. So we did all that, and then we send off the email. Half hour later, he calls me back. Haven't heard back. What's going on? Where's my offer? Am I going to miss out on the place? Whatever. And everyone loves an anxious buyer, but what that told me is that the expectations of this particular person, he was a young person, is not based on individual people, but based on the apps and other experiences that they're using. So he's used to going on Uber, sitting on the couch, ordering his food, it coming to the door, that he doesn't even need to open the door to talk to the person that's dropping off his food. He gets to see where they are on the map, on his phone. So that level of personalized and digital experience is what consumers are expecting. It's what they get in everywhere else, and it's what consumers are starting to expect in real estate as well. And I think the key thing is, before I jump into this point, is that everyone is trying to own it. But as the, like, so portals are trying to own it, but as the agent, you are best placed for that because you're the one that's talking to them during their journey. And so what we want to do at Phoenix is provide that kind of those tools to make that experience to where it needs to be for the future. So the next one is what we're seeing is obviously the proliferation of AI. And this is an illustrative kind of graph. So McKinsey did a survey in 2017. They surveyed a bunch of organizations and said, are you adopting AI? And 20% came back and said yes. They did the same survey in 2024 and 72% came back and said yes. So that's obviously a massive increase in adoption. But I think this kind of understates it, because if they did that survey a few years before, the answer would be 0% were adopting AI. And if you look at generative AI, so the kind of chat GPT stuff that everyone kind of knows so well now, that's 65% of organizations have adopted that. And it's a category that didn't exist a few years ago. So there's this massive kind of increase in how AI is being utilized. And I think at the moment, it's used very much for productivity tools and maybe writing an email here and listing description there. But we see it being capable of doing much more than that. So I was talking to an agent the other day that's already using AI to do phone calls. So buyers come through at an inspection, he checks them in at the inspection. And when he's checking them in, he says to them, I'll have my AI assistant call you this afternoon to get your feedback on the property. So buyer goes home, gets a phone call, and the AI, Australian voice, all very flowing and natural and low latency and everything, says, hey, I'm John's AI assistant. If you want to speak to John, let me know and I'll just put you through. But would love to get your feedback on the property. So that sort of stuff's already happening. And I think we'll start seeing more and more of that, where AI is taking bigger chunks of workflows. But it's not just AI that is proliferating, it's tech as well, more broadly. So an example I like to use is our email designer in Phoenix. It's something we could build ourselves, but it's a team of people and it's a lot of time to build that. And then there's so many different edge cases with different email providers and that we have to account for. But we can take something that's being built, that's already off the shelf, customize it for real estate, something that's really simple, really powerful, really easy to use, handles all the edge cases. There's a team of developers that are working on it. We can just use that, plug that in, and bring the best of that technology, through our product and customize for real estate. And we've done the same thing for our workflow manager as well, where we're taking off-the-shelf tech that's been heavily invested in using the really modern stuff that didn't exist even just a few years ago. So if we were building a few years ago, we wouldn't be able to bring these tools. So that kind of advancing tech, the proliferation of AI, I think it gives us a unique opportunity right now to be able to create something really cool. So that's what we're seeing in the future. But now if I look at real estate CRMs as they are now, essentially a combination of these 5 main categories. So contacts and properties database, accounting and compliance software, productivity tools, analytics and reporting, and some level of automation. So different CRMs are strong in different parts. Some do everything shallow, some are deep on, let's say, accounting, but less so on automation. But kind of every CRM fits into these kind of tools. And so our approach to that, we see it kind of like a ticket to the ball game kind of thing. So our approach when we're building the CRM is that it needs to be simple. People don't use software if it's not simple. So that's obviously a very, very top priority for us. And then powerful. And what I mean by powerful is you can look at it from the 80-20 rule. So 80% of clients use 20% of features. And those features we need to make sure are extremely deep, work extremely well, kind of just so seamless. And so that's what we're doing there. And then flexible, because every agency works different. They want to collect different things at different times. And what we're doing with our approach here is having the ability to customize data, customize business logic, customize UI, and basically allow for that flexibility to handle that broad case of, or broad long tail of use cases. But to me, that gets us a basic CRM, maybe a little bit better, but that's really not what we're interested in. We're kind of really interested in innovating, taking advantage of these future trends, or the ability to service these future trends that I was talking about just earlier. So that we're looking for our first wave of innovation at these three pillars. The first is our workflow platform, and we're seeing that as like the core or the back end of the CRM. Then we've got our consumer experience platform, which is kind of like the front end. That's what the consumers are interacting with. And then we're also innovating in AI as well. So having a look, this is our workflow automation platform. We're calling it Maestro because the idea is, like a maestro kind of orchestrating the business. And so there's, it's kind of workflow management. So triggers can kick off these workflows. And what we've invested in is kind of making it really visual, easy to build, and the ability to map out really complex kind of processes as well. And so this allows kind of three broad categories of manipulating data. So the first is sending emails, communications, SMSs, so interacting with consumers. The second is setting tasks and setting what your users should be doing. And so, for an example, a junior agent, for example, you might want doing certain tasks, but a senior agent, is doing different tasks. So the ability to kind of map that out, who's doing what, based on, the level of permissions or roles that they have in the company. And the third is manipulating data. So the ability to edit records, update records, add records, and kind of, manipulate the data that's in the CRM. So we see that as like the back end. And then the front end that sits kind of in front of that is this consumer experience platform. So we've looked at the different touch points that agents and vendors or buyers or tenants or landlords are engaging in all the time. And we've built different landing pages, websites, portals for the different stages or the different touch points that are happening. And so the idea is that this workflow automation engine is sending people to these digital experiences. So we've got one, the vendor journey, we've got the prospect portal that turns into an appraisal that then turns into the owner portal that has all the data and statistics from their campaign. And that flows all the way through to the trust accounting. So you can even have the financials and stuff on that portal. And similar sort of thing on the buyer journey. We've mapped out the buyer journey. We've looked at the different digital touch points that buyers are having with agencies and then built specific experiences for those. And with a buyer, they've also got the ability to kind of like jump back and forth between different parts. They might be doing their research or organizing inspection, giving feedback, that sort of stuff. So this is really exciting for us. And a cool thing about the buying process is we've got this in market, and we've started to see the kind of engagement that it's getting. And to give you an example, 12% of buyers that are engaging in a listing are coming in, interacting, putting in more data about themselves. Maybe it's what their current living situation is, if they're looking to sell, when they're looking to buy, why are they looking to buy. So they're putting all of that kind of information in about themselves, and then we can build up a profile of that buyer. And that's really important because with AI, if you just have a dumb AI, it's dumb and it starts saying silly things. So to make AI useful, you need to do more than just take, ChatGPT and the large language models. you need to then infuse it with that data that we're collecting from those consumer experience portals, and kind of, yeah, when you're got a certain use case to be using the AI, that data that's in your database that's relevant needs to be in the context of that AI as well. And then, as well as your CRM data, the AI needs to know what your business is. When a prospect opens their prospect portal, what's the next step? What do you actually do? When someone inquires, what do you actually do next? This is the sort of stuff you can put and configure. You can set out your business processes and you can customize the prompts. And we combine those three, parts to generate a chat AI assistant that you can talk to, just like ChatGPT. And Trev will talk a bit more about that as well. So I guess to summarize how we're seeing things is we think that the future is going to bring a lot of change. We think there's going to be a lot of innovation to address that. We're looking to build something, using the tenets of simple, powerful, and flexible. And we're looking to do real innovation in these key areas. And I think you can probably tell that this is a pretty passionate topic for me, and I could talk about this for a long time. I know you want to see the product, so I'm going to hand over to Trev so he can jump in and show us the product. Thanks, Trev.
Thank you, Luke, and hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Really excited to be able to share with you what the team has been working on with regards to Phoenix software. So for many of you in the meeting here today, this would be your first look at Phoenix. And I hope that you can see what others have mentioned to us is that the initial impressions are that it's a nice, clean interface. Very simple, as Luke said, and that's what we're trying to achieve, giving clients and agents the ability to actually use their CRM, something that's simple to use across the board, not overly complicated. So what we've done here is we've included our main core modules running across the top here, and we won't delve too much into each of them specifically, but we will visit some of these areas. Also, the CRM's got to allow people to add information quickly. So what we have up here is a nice big plus button, and you can go and add any type of data directly into the CRM. If I was to add a contact, we have this side section that slides out, and that's the same no matter what you're adding in to the CRM. You'll see it pop out to the side, so you still have access to the information on the right. Moving forward, if we were to go into the CRM has a few quick searches as well. So if you want to go and manage your tasks or handle inquiries, you can go immediately to that area there and do your work from these screens. There are some filtering options as well. But really, what I think a lot of people were wanting to do today was to see what we've been able to do with AI in our CRM. So if we were to go and look at our contacts, and I'll pick on Luke here, and this screen will be quite similar no matter which part of the CRM you're in, whether it's contacts or properties. So what we have is the subject at hand, either the contact or the property, and then down the left-hand side we have our contact details or property details will appear in here. Just to reassure you, you can customize a lot of the information that you're entering against the contacts, create custom fields. Moving across, we have an area it's called our activity feed. The activity feed allows you to see quickly the latest interactions with these people, and you can filter on these things, and any related parties to that person or that property will be on the right-hand side. Now, we also have our preferences, and the preferences allow you to have multiple preferences for each person as well. So you might have people looking at specific types of property, and you can add different preferences for that. And we also have our buying tabs. So you might have seen earlier, Luke put to screen the information that buyers are providing in their buyer journey, and we're capturing that information into the CRM. So it's more than just what particular property are you looking for, why are you looking to buy, when do you need to purchase, do you have finance organized, things like that that we're capturing in here. And then the beauty of that is we can go to our AI assistant and we can do what's called a buying summary. So here's Phoebe. Phoebe, our AI assistant, has summarized the interactions we've had with Luke and is giving us a few ideas as to what we should be talking about and conveying to that person. The other thing we can do is we can come back and say, okay, well, what are the next steps for this buyer here? So Phoebe is going to go and analyze and again, give us some help in what we should be saying or sending to this particular buyer. So if, for example, we needed to send an email, we can quickly create that email from this point here. Or your preference might be to send an SMS. So you can click Create SMS and it will load the SMS screen. You can obviously modify the information that's within here and you can send it straight away and it's captured against the record. Or if you want to make a phone call, again, there's a little prompt here about maybe discussing the buyer timeframe and so forth. Now, the reality is your agents are dealing with many buyers at any one time, and unless they're operating their CRM properly, they'll probably forget who most of these people are. So this is where I see the AI next steps and summary being of tremendous help to your agents. So if we were to now move into the properties section, and we like to follow the life cycle of a property, starts as an address, we then appraise the property, it becomes a listing, and then we sell it. So we've catered for all that within the CRM. If, however, we go into an actual listing that we have at the moment, and just to reassure everyone, we do the portal pushing, we do the inquiry capture, it's all in here. And if you want to find out more about that, hit me up and we can do a one-on-one session and go through the particulars of that and any other questions you have. But this is our screen for the actual listing. And again, similar to the contact record, information on the left, activity feed in the middle, and related parties on the right. So if we go, for example, into our buyers table, so anyone that has inquired, inspected, submitted offers on this property, what we can do is we can go to our AI assistant and we can say, well, what are the next selling steps for this property? Once again, Phoebe loads up and she will be making some suggestions to us based on the data that's within here. And I've seen CRMs where there's hundreds of buyers on a property and poor agent sits there and goes, well, who should I be focusing on? So what Phoebe's able to do is to analyze that data and say, okay, well, we think that Michelle should be receiving an email. So it's very easy for the agent to then go click create email, send that off. Luke might prefer being contacted by mobile, so we could send him an SMS. And Tanya is open to phone calls. So this can actually help the agents streamline that follow-up and get it done relatively quickly. The other thing that we're doing as we're updating these buyers is we're obviously getting all that information ready for reporting back to our owners. So again, what we've been able to do is, and a lot of owner reports, vendor reports have a bit of a summary, what's been happening in the market or with the people that have been inspecting. So once again, we can ask Phoebe if she would be kind enough to write a summary for us, because like me, I'm not very good at putting words together, but with a little bit of help, I can normally get something that's quite legible. So you can see straight away, Phoebe has written a bit of a summary about what's been going on with the marketing of this property, and I can come down and use this and drop that into my summary. Now, obviously, like anything with AI, there's some things that it's not 100% correct, so there might be something here you don't want to show people. Always refer to that information, review it before you save it and send it off to your owner. So we just save that, and if I was to now go and view the owner portal, please give me a nod if you can see the owner portal. Thank you very much. So here you can see that AI content has been dropped into the summary of our owner portal. And the owner portal has all the information regarding the campaign. This looks like I've been a little bit slack with my listing, but if you're marketing a property the way you should, promoting it on the portals, we'll be capturing all that information and then being able to present some really relevant information to your owners, and they can, at their leisure, go through the various tabs that we have here as well, review all the feedback that they've gotten on the property and so forth. So we might just jump back into the software again. So AI is being used on the contact records, on the listing, just to help agents communicate with the parties involved. Now, in terms of communication and the marketing, and Luke mentioned this, we're really excited about what we've done with our email design and email campaign module. If we go into our email design, what I love about this personally is it's very flexible, very easy to put a campaign together. A nice looking modern email design is within anyone's reach. And what we are going to be providing our clients is a whole suite or a library of pre-built templates for you. So if you are going in to modify them, there's not a lot of work involved. It might be just a little bit of cosmetic things that you're doing to it. So just to give you an idea as to how this works, I might load up my little template here, and you'll see that it's made up of various blocks. So what I can do is I can come in and I can add to this if I want to. I can move these sections around if I want to. I might want to drop this one down, and you can move and drop and it will quickly update that. If we come up here again, or if I want to add in another article, for example, I could maybe put in a column. I can drop that in there. I might want a 50-50 split. I wanted to add in some content, maybe an image. I can drop that in nice and easy. And this section here, I might want a bit of text because I'm going to put in a bit of an article. So if I wanted to upload an image, and within here, we do have an AI image generator as well. So feel free to play around with that. You can get really creative with those images. But if you want something a little bit more traditional, you can upload your own images into these sections. And then with the text, again, me being who I am, not knowing what to write, I might put in something like, why sell property in summer? That's going to be my lead article. And I can select that information, and then through the smart text, I can expand on that text and it will write a little article for me that can be included in my email newsletter. And there it is. So once again, I can edit that information, make it nice and tidy, maybe link it off back to my website, but that's really a very simple process for putting together your email. One of the other things that you really have to consider when you're putting one of these email campaigns together is how does it look on a mobile device? And I'm sure you receive emails from other agents as well, but some of them look really terrible on a mobile device. They look fine on a desktop, but on a mobile, they're not created properly. So the beauty of this service that we're offering is we have the ability to preview this email in a mobile environment, and you can see how it looks. So it just gives you that confidence before you send it out. It's going to do the best thing by you and your brand. It's going to look sharp. It's going to present well, present your vendor's properties in their right light. And you have every confidence that when you send it out, it's going to work for you. So that's the email designer. So once you've put together your email design, sent it out, we also have campaign reports. So obviously it's really important to have feedback in relation to a campaign that's gone out. Now, I've only just sent a little email campaign here for recipients, but you'll then get all the analytics in relation to this campaign. So if I come down, you'll see the delivery, you'll see the opens, you'll see the clicks and the click rate, and then you'll be able to see which of these people opened or clicked that email campaign. And it's so nice of my family to do that for me. So moving on, the email marketing module, very flexible, very easy to use, and it ties in really well with our workflow solution. So Luke mentioned the workflows, and you might have seen a graphic there of an ultimate workflow that has a lot of branches to it. But what I thought I'd do is just show you how easy it is to put one together. But be assured, we will have a library of pre-built workflows for you, so you don't have to go to the trouble of putting all this together. But if you ever wanted to modify it, it's really quite simple. So if I come into my inquiry one here, now I'm just using the inquiry workflow as an example because everyone at some point is using some type of automation around inquiries. But to start a workflow, you do need what's called a trigger event. So If you wanted to, and I'll just come in here and show you, and this list is expanding as well, but at the moment, these are the triggers we have. So some of them will be contact related, some of them will be listing related, some of them will also allow us to receive what's called webhooks. So if you're using third-party programs that you're capturing information from, we can capture that information and then start a workflow from that. But if I wanted to do my inquiry workflow, I just select my trigger. And then what I do is I need to say, well, what happens from this point? And what I might like to do is set up a branch. Now, my branch will be I'll need to have it work off something. So if you think about a typical real estate office, you have a sales division, you have a rental division, you might have another division for strata or rural properties or something like that. So what I'd like to do, just to keep it simple, is I'm going to branch out based on listing type. So what that means is I can have one automation that covers the various departments of my office rather than having to create 3 or 4 individual automations and they each might do different things. But with Phoenix, we can have that all within the one automation. So I've got my branches here. So what I need to do now is I need to say, what am I going to branch off? So I want to branch off one workflow for my sales inquiries. I then want to branch off another one for my lease inquiries. If I was a commercial office, I might want to do sale and lease in a different workflow as well, but I'll just keep it to the two for simplicity's sake. So now I've set that up. I've got sale, lease, and anything else that falls outside those parameters will go into this workflow. So from here, what do I want to do? For my sales inquiries, I might want to send an email straight away to those people. And this is where that email design module comes in handy, because what you can do will nominate who it's coming from, but I can pick one of these designs that I've created that look really nice, present well, as part of this workflow. And then what I might do is I might then want to have a wait period. I want to wait maybe 2 days. And then I want to continue on with my workflow and maybe send an SMS or maybe another email and so forth. And you can see how you can build your workflow very quickly, very easily, just by following the flow of the work, I suppose. I won't go to the trouble of building out the lease one or anything else, but I hope that gives people an understanding as to how it works. Now, some of these workflows can get quite big as well, so we do have the option of being able to zoom in and out, and you can move this around as well. So for people who are quite visual in how they see things working, this will be perfect for them and how that works. And finally, the other area I wanted to talk about was our website, and Aria, who's about to present to us about our website solution, will go into a little bit more detail about this. But just to reassure you, we have a content management system for our websites, and it's where you have control of your website. So you can manage pages, you can manage blog posts, testimonials, the staff you want to appear. If you're featuring listings, you can nominate all that. It's all within your control. But what I wanted to share with you today, and a big problem for agents, is they know they should be posting blogs because of SEO. They want to rank better in their areas, but they just don't have the time or the resources to be able to create blog posts. So today, there's no excuse with AI. So if I wanted to create a blog post, I just click this button here. I have a title for my blog post. So it might be something like 7 home selling tips, something like that. And then coming down, there's a couple of technical things that you might need to put in for your blog post, but we'll provide training on that. But you would upload an image. But here again, we're able to rely on Phoebe to help us. So over here, I've got Phoebe, and I'm going to type in, Phoebe, help me write an article on 7 home selling tips. And I think she's already done it for me, even prior to writing it, because I did it before. But there's your article, pre-written, ready to go. So what you would do is use this content, it would drop it into this area here. Again, you would go and edit this, take out what doesn't apply or is not required, and then you can save that and that'll immediately go to your website. So that will save you an awful lot of time, hassle, and trouble in maintaining your blog posts. The only thing you would need to do is start to come up with some ideas on what you should be writing to your market. But my recommendation would be to make it specific to what's happening in your area today, and just work off that and try, if you can, at a minimum, one blog post per month. If you get really good at this and it's quick enough for you, try and do one per week. And with that, I think it's a good segue into Aria's presentation on our website service. So over to you, Aria.
Oh, thank you very much, Trevor. That was a really nice demo. Hey, everyone. So I'll just share my screen in a second. And yeah, I guess in today's webinar, what I want to in specific talk about is real estate websites. And there's 3 points which I want to talk about today. The first one is the changing landscape that we're seeing for real estate websites. And second is how can really Phoenix help you with that? Basically help you with high conversions, and also talk about how you can leverage data to generate leads from your Phoenix website. So let's get into it. So the first thing is the changing landscape in real estate websites. So for a long time, we all know it, we're seeing more and more that buyers are going towards these portals for realestate.com.au domain. Just in the month of August alone, realestate.com.au had 12.1 million Australians visited, and most of them were buyers. So we can see that more and more of the buyers are going onto these portals, relying on them, searching for properties and inquiring on them, rather than individual websites. So the big question comes, where does that really leave real estate websites? So we have the traditional focus, which still works, and it is basically trying to attract buyers and showcasing your listings on there. But then there is also the new focus. And this new focus is actually where people should pay attention on and work towards their website, and that is towards targeting the prospects, mainly the vendors and landlords, as they are really the key audience for your website. In today's digital age, your website is the first pitch to future clients. It's not just a listing directory. So why does that matter is because on your website, when a vendor or landlord visits it, they're looking for some stuff like your services. They're looking for your credibility, like accessing credibility, seeing your success stories, your expertise. It's also seeing information, showcasing your success stories, attracting leads in the end of the day. And so how Phoenix really focuses on this, our website solutions. And how do we do that? And what we really do different is, well, to start off with, first thing is we really try to focus your website onto testimonials and social proof. So why does that really matter is because when a prospect comes onto your website, they see all these reviews, which helps build the trust and credibility. Displaying things like Google reviews, reviews from realestate.com.au or other similar platform really speaks to the consumer. And what we've actually done at Phoenix is we've built a tool within the website where you can actually sync all these reviews automatically onto your website. So because I know like a lot of people get reviews, then it's a lot of work to add them in manually. But now we can actually sync them. So you just connect it. We have the integration. And then what it does is automatically pulls on from those platforms and we can then build it to showcase on your website. So this is a very small screenshot I took, which you can see over here. So I'm showing a slider over here where it's actually showing one from Google, for example, or realestate.com.au, and then also a manual testimonial, which you would have gotten via an email or something where you can add it in. And showcasing all of that in one seamless way is really talks to the consumer. And then I guess the next thing is as well is showcasing your services. It's very important to educate your prospects on how you solve their problems. And by that, what I mean is like building dedicated pages on your website, which is towards, for example, the selling side of stuff, or it could be about property management. And this is one example which we have over here, for example, Grantham Real Estate. When you go on their sell page, you can see it's all about talking about selling a property. It's talking about the selling approach, their standard approach, showing testimonials, talking about a success story and showing recent sales as well. Similar to that, about property management services from leading property group. There's talking about the key services offered, why choose, for example, leading property group for property management, and how easy it is to switch. So really focusing on your services over here and what differentiates you. Then the third thing as well is going towards differentiating you, is talking about the unique value proposition. So what it is basically what differentiates you from the competitors. And at Phoenix, we really try to focus on that and really highlight those aspects by using bold design elements to draw attention to it. So these are a couple of small examples. For example, Deborah Thompson Property. So on the homepage, when you go, you see your trusted guide in real estate. So really highlighting on that, and then a nice picture backdrop of the area. And then, for example, going back to Grantham Real Estate, we are great agents talking about their branding, their tagline, and really emphasizing on that. So those are the things which we can do on your website. But then it goes to the third point, which is actually leveraging data to generate leads. So at Phoenix, what we've done is we've actually built interactive ways where you can actually interact with your prospects. So one of them is dynamic suburb profiles. So it's, as the name implies, it basically you put in your suburb or an area in there, and what it does is it showcases market trends, demographics, property stats, which really attracts your vendors and landlords researching the area and helps build credibility as a more local market expert. This is one example of how that would present on a Phoenix website. So it's giving the neighborhood summary, the area, for example, the house price and the medians, and for rentals, and then same like units, and then it showcases also your listings at the bottom, and then an inquiry form as well for your prospects. So it's one more way to engage with them. Then another one as well is talking about leveraging data, which Luke touched base on, was about the whole prospect portal. So you can actually add that directly onto your website. And it's another tool which engages and gives value-driven content to them. It encourages more leads, or the bare minimum, at least direct contact with them. And yeah, end of the day with Phoenix, we want to craft a user experience that resonates with prospects, turning your visitors into clients. And yeah, what we'll do now, I guess, is jump into polls, which I'll hand it over to Trevor.
Luke, would you be able to launch the poll, please? Thank you very much. So, yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. We will get into our Q&A, but we did want to ask those people here, yeah, just quickly, would you like a personal demonstration or a personal review of Phoenix software? Because everyone has different needs. Everyone wants different outcomes, and no business is alike. So yeah, some people might have some very specific questions about what they saw here today, or want to delve into some other areas a little bit more deeply. I'd encourage you to have a demo with me. And we'll go through those things with you. So we'll keep that up for a couple more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Luke. Bring that down. Excellent. And whilst we were talking, we did have some people ask some questions. So we might go into our Q&A now. I will read out the questions, and I might ask Luke and Aria to help me out with some of these questions. So there was a question here from Darren. He wanted to know which agent was using that AI telephone call scenario. I'm not sure if you can divulge that, Luke, or you could let Darren know.
I might touch base with you later, Darren.
Okay, so we've answered that one. Okay, someone's asked, how is our AI different to other CRMs? Luke, you
yeah,
the market. What are your thoughts on that?
yeah. So I think the So AI at the moment, that Chat GPT, that Open AI bit, that's essentially the same for everyone. That model is available everywhere, and probably I don't know what the other CRMs are using, but I'd say it's something like that. But what we're doing a bit differently is loading in all of that data around it. So if you're talking about a listing, loading in all the buyers about it and all the activity that's happened on that listing, for example. So yeah, we're doing that, but then also going the next step from that and being able to load in your business logic as well and your processes and customize those prompts. So I guess that's those extra 2 layers is what we're trying to do a little bit different.
Okay, great. We've had a question here. Is there any social media marketing available?
Yeah, good question. So this is coming soon. So this will have a social ads module that's launching in December. It's almost finished and it's looking really cool. So yeah, you'll be able to do with that. It's not just listing/BPA ads. It's also the branded and marketing type ads as well for lead generation. So yeah, that will be launching very soon.
Excellent. Are we building a property management solution? Another question. Good question.
Short term, the answer is we'll be integrating. Longer term, don't know, possibly.
Okay. Trini here is asking, can we touch on accounting for sales, trust, compliance, and reporting? Yes, we are definitely providing sales trust solution, and it'll be totally compliant if you are running a trust account and for your reporting and everything. We didn't really go into that time frame for that, Luke. When would you be expecting we could show people the trust account?
The trust accounting late this month, early next month, while everyone's on holiday. So
Excellent.
except us.
Okay. We've had a question. The system looks great. Thank you for that. How does the platform enable my agents to prospect for new vendors? I think I could probably answer that one. So, yeah, there's new vendors. I think what you've got to do, there's a couple of ways. So obviously there's third-party data programs that you can go and try and the more traditional route, get a surname, try door knock or whatever, and try and find their details and then start to build a relationship that way. My take on this is always work with the data that you've got. So of all these people that are inquiring on properties, there would be a percentage of these people that need to sell before they buy. And for the ones specifically that are in your local area, they'd be new vendors for you. So with what we're providing through our buyer journey, one of the pertinent questions is, where are you at this point? And an answer to that would be, I need to sell before I buy. So anyone that offers that information and that information flows into Phoenix, we will notify your agents that that's the case. And then that would essentially be a red hot lead as a potential seller. So that's one way that you could do that. Any other thoughts, Luke or Aria, on that?
No, I think you answered quite well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways for lead generation with new vendors. Aria and I have been working with a few clients on what they can do on their websites. And, it's a real bugbear of mine. I could talk for hours about what agents are doing on their websites with regards to trying to generate or convert people who visit into potential leads for selling. And I think what we've got to do as an industry is start to get a little bit smarter in how we promote that information. We need to get a little bit more niche in what we're saying, so if you work in a specific market, especially for example units, if you've got a high percentage of units in your area, your messaging should be around how to sell a strata unit, for example, rather than just, do you want an appraisal? So there's things like that that you can certainly do on your website to try and convert those people into prospective sellers, and we'd love to chat more about that. Okay, so we've had about 3 questions on how much, and that's the $1 million question, isn't it? So I assume, and again, everyone is different in their office structures. So, we have big offices, we have medium-sized, small offices, we have one-person offices. So what we like to do is uncover what is your offer structure initially, and then what services you're wanting. But just to give you a ballpark figure, if you are a small 1-2 person operation for a CRM and website solution, you're looking around $300 per month. If you're a medium-sized office or larger, you'd be looking around $450 per month. And that's for website and CRM included. But if you really want specifics, yeah, you can have a chat to me. And I'm also one to have my arm twisted as well. So feel free to talk to me about pricing. Don't let Luke hear and Ari hear that. So a couple of questions about that. Any other future features we can tease them with, Luke? Anything on the road long term?
I guess what I'd say about that is we showed it the software for 15 minutes. There's a whole lot of stuff we didn't show. So I'd probably book in a demo and we'll show you what we do have already. Okay. There's a lot there that we didn't get to show.
Yeah. Okay. More pricing question. Would we support mortgage brokers in terms of CRM?
I think so in some aspects, like a CRM is a CRM, you've got contacts, you've got, custom fields, you've got, emails and SMS and all that sort of stuff. So I think, in that aspect it could, but we're not ever going to go deep on those mortgage broker use cases, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Just going through some of these, there's a lot of questions about integrations, and some people have very specific integrations that they're talking about. I think what I might do, if that's okay, is go back to you individually with your questions about the integrations. But I think an overall principle for us is that we want to integrate with as many providers that we can for our clients. So if you're a client who has or needs a particular integration, that's something we are definitely wanting to explore with you and get that set up to make your life easier. Okay. Does the CRM have a brochure builder?
Coming soon, we do. We're building it at the moment. We've got a brochure builder that we're building all the brochure templates with at the moment, and we're bringing that to the CRM as well. So yeah, the same brochure we build with same brochure builder that we use to build brochures is going to be exposed there in the software as well. Yeah, that's another one that's very close.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like outside of the integration questions, which I will get back to people individually, there's no other questions. We've gone a little bit over time, but we really do appreciate everyone hanging around and asking their questions. We hope that the session has been informative, and yeah, for those people that did want a closer look at Phoenix, we'll be in touch shortly with you. But it just looks like we'll sneak one more in. It was about social media. So they want to know, are they paid ads or just posts?
So the social media campaign platform is paid ads. Using Maestro, you can send posts.
Okay, great. Excellent. With that, that's the end of the Q&A, Luke.
Thank you. Great. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, like I mentioned before, we're really excited to be bringing this CRM to market, and look forward to speaking to people individually after. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.